I was going to say there's one other thing that really seems to separate us from our competition, and that's communication.
Yeah.
So, we let every client know, and we follow through that 2 days before their appointment, we're going to give them a friendly reminder. We're going to text them.
Yeah.
The day of, they're going to get a phone call when the technician's on the way,
Yeah.
and they're going to get an email or a text no later than the following day,
Yeah.
just to make sure how we did.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Let's face it. I don't care how good any company is, you're not going to get it right every time.
No.
It's not going to happen. And we want to know and fix it
Yeah.
before they're just sitting and stewing, going, "I paid $500 for,"
Yeah.
we don't want that. That's
No.
not okay with us. And so we get right back out there and fix whatever it is.
Welcome to the Carpet Cleaner Success Podcast, a show created to inspire carpet cleaning business owners to build their own thriving residential and commercial cleaning business. Your host, John Clendenning, has built and sold successful cleaning businesses for multiple six figures over his 30-year career and is the founder of Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters, a digital agency that turns your online marketing into a lead generation machine. Tune in as John shares proven tips, strategies, and expert interviews to help fast track your success in the carpet cleaning industry.
Part of what we're doing here today is to so like we're an AI powered agency now. We're using AI a lot to build command centers and client stuff so that we don't have, like, at the beginning we ask you a lot of questions, then we don't have to ask you a ton of questions after that, and the nurturing process happens
Right.
going forward. So what that means is you guys don't stop what you're doing. When a leader inquiry comes in, if they filled out a form, they might be shy. So that's called a so if they fill out a form, it's a smart connect. Let's try and get them on the
Hmm.
phone right now.
Absolutely.
If they decide to still be shy, which again, there's a reason why people fill out chats and forums now, but a lot of us as business owners wait to the end of the day, or as office admin people, hey, I'll get to that after lunch, right? And we're in a world now that when somebody sends an email or a text, they care about the answer in 5 minutes or 2 minutes,
Hmm.
1 minute. So this is to kind of get us old dogs up to the new world where that is considered like somebody who is like our kids that sit on their phones all day long. Yeah, yeah, dad. Because they just got asked 20 questions by 20 different people in 20 different apps, and they're going back and forth
Exactly.
trying to have a conversation or watch the movie, and they're doing this. They're in that world where they expect that immediate interaction. And I think it's funny because I got a buddy of mine that we've been friends for decades, and it's like he'll send me a text. 2 or 3 days later, I'll send a text back with a question to, and we joke like, other family members will turn around and go, oh my God, I can't believe that. How did you not get back to them? And how do you guys not have the, and it's like, we don't care. Like
Right.
it's not an urgent conversation. It's a friendly conversation that next time he gets a chance to look at it, send me. I never feel bad about it. He never feels bad about it, and that's our relationship. But there's a lot of
Absolutely.
people that are, why didn't they answer me in 5 minutes? You know what I mean? And so that's what this is. That's why
Yes.
we built that in. And then the nurture sequence is, yeah, like you text, you email them, and then you let it. You wait a couple of days. You come back. Hey, did you ever get this solved? We'd really like to help you. Would you like somebody to come out and do a quote? The other thing that we talk about is like our done together marketing has three major pillars. So on your side, we talked about that at the beginning. So the three major pillars are you need to be getting a volume of reviews. The best way to do that is Repignition, our tool, because we found that feedback first, not just we found, like there's actually a
Hmm.
called Aberdeen Research Council that spends millions of dollars a year making sure that service businesses understand the voice of the consumer, and they test all that. If you ask people for an internal survey, you can get 50 to 70% of people filling that out. You will never get more than about 10 to 15% of people writing a review. And the review
Hmm.
sits privately on Google. If they didn't make, oh, everybody goes to Google. Nope. Only about 60% of the people that don't have a name in mind go to Google. So, how many people don't have a name in mind? Well, probably we know in our industry, if they're brand new, if they don't have a reference or somebody, there's probably about 75% of the population, um, 60 to 75% of the people going to hire a cleaner don't have a name in mind the first time, right?
Hmm.
So if we say, like, if we start with that, There's a crowd of people that already have a name in mind. Their friend told them, somebody else told them, right? But if they don't have a name in mind, they go to Google. They're just looking to solve a problem. They're either going to do research, so they're the top of funnel, and they're just going to find more information because they're a thinker, or they're a reactor, and they're just finding today, right? So
Right.
that's now your crowd. Of the people that go to that are now don't have a name in mind, just over half of them go to Google. The other half don't. So now you've taken that 75% of the population who's hiring a carpet cleaner, don't have a name in mind, now we're down to about 37%, maybe as high as 40, go to Google, right? So of that crowd, right? So it's getting a smaller and smaller crowd of people that are actually, so Google reviews are great, but this fact that everybody says that the only thing that matters is,
well, that's silly to say that any one thing is the only thing that matters.
yeah, right?
Right,
And
yeah.
Google matters to the people on Google, and that's the only people it matters to, right?
Right.
But everywhere else, like that's why we say it's done together. So the reputation or the reviews and reputation side of it is get feedback from happy customers, because that can be put into the marketing material, and then let the review system ask them for the reviews second. And what we find is we'll get as many, if not more, because we ask it, hey, could you mind taking these really kind words you said and post them on Google, Facebook, Better Business Bureau, wherever we want to send them. And
Right.
some people go, let me do it everywhere. So that whole idea of send a text message to somebody, get a Google review, right? That's just become the world. Everybody just send a text message to get a Google review. Oh, that makes sense. Look at all my Google reviews. But you have no Yelp. You have no Facebook. That only solves one audience.
Right.
So why not do the same thing, but in a more constructive way? So that's our one pillar. Our second pillar is the project stories. The reason where I was going with that is we need to be telling happy stories, happy customer stories into the marketplace. I don't care if I was on a training call yesterday for, they invited me to talk all about AI and stuff like that. It's a group called Normie, but Normie is Robert Pettyjohn and those guys that have been around the industry for years. It's the indoor air quality side of the industry. So a lot of these guys are former home inspectors that said, you know what, I just want to be an indoor air quality inspector. And Normie is a training and certification program backed by the Clean Facts and ISSA association, Jeff Cross, that that does all that. And they asked me to come and speak about best known in your marketplace and, using AI as a solopreneur and all of this kind of stuff. And the girl that was right after me, Becky, was great. She's teaching social media, and she's teaching these guys that are our age to say, well, you should grab your phone, and every single day you should be, if you walk into a job, you should be going, hey, it's Chris here, Carpet MD. I just walked into this job. I want to show you this dirt. And we're going like, we should, but nobody does, right? And of the whole audience, one guy goes, yeah, I finally got on to doing that. And it was really uncomfortable at first. And again, he was around our age, right? So it's sort of like, so what we do with the project stories is try and make it, you might find that one technician that's good at it, making videos, get them to do it, give them an incentive. But the easy lift is filling out the project capture stories. So Gerard is going to meet with you if you guys haven't already had the meeting. It's part of the first month to train you on, it's really simple, but how to use it. It's on the bottom of your website.
Yeah, he has not yet. We have submitted 2 of those already.
Perfect. Yeah. So if you've submitted, you watch the training, then they're going to be looking at it between him and Sarika. They're going to be looking at them to police them, as we like to say, to make sure that the first couple coming in are good, and then give you any suggestions on how to do it a little bit better if needed, because ultimately what we're going to do is give you 1 or 2 of those a month as a story out in the marketplace. But what we use, so we're going to put them on social media. We're going to put them on Google Maps. We're going to do all the other ones you give us. We just grab the pictures from and use the pictures on Google Maps and everywhere else. But we're going to find the best 2, wait a couple of weeks to see if the client left a feedback internally or a review publicly, so that we can add those all together. If they didn't, we'll still run it if it's a really good project story. But what that is, the other thing we're going to do with those is over time, we keep adding those into that nurture email sequence. So we're going to add those into your website, but we're going to also add them into that first 2 weeks. Hey, by the way, I haven't heard back from you, but I just want to tell you a story of one of our recent happy customers, right? Recent might be a year ago. It might be a month ago. It might be like, we're just going to seed those in. So it's just a part. And then even like all of the clients, or all the leads that don't turn into clients, they start getting a monthly message afterwards as well. So if they ghost you, they went with somebody else, right? They might go with a different person. They might decide not to do it right now. They might have been just
Right.
thinking about it.
It happens. The one we
Those
did
people,
yesterday was
yeah.
small but a good one. Dog pooped and smeared poop all over a sofa cushion.
Okay.
You
All
know,
those.
I mean, it was awful. Came out perfect.
Yeah.
So loved that one.
So that tells a story, because then when we put that up on social media, you guys join those groups. Like we show, like those homeowners groups and all that stuff. You join those groups, and then you share that in from your own personal Facebook, privately. Like you join the group as a person. You're a business owner, part of a business owner group on Facebook or on LinkedIn. You share that in, and then no call to action. You're just doing, ah, shucks, you guys are great. Ah, shucks, you guys are great. And it brings people back to your website, which helps SEO, boost the website, but it also creates those real estate agents and interior designers and other business owners that are following more and more. Oh, look at Carpet MD. Oh, look at Carpet MD. Oh, look at this Chris guy, this company he runs. My God, they do a really good job. And you just start building that digital version of Howard Partridge stuff, knocking on doors and handing out donuts, right? It's the digital version of that, right? It's just another layer. We should be doing both.
With the Facebook stuff, we're going to need some serious help on that.
I know. I heard that Baylor is being a little bit tough on getting access to all of things.
Well, it's not really just him. It's been a nightmare for the last year and a half. We had gotten hacked, and then we got banned. They completely shut mine down. Every time I try to do a personal one myself, they shut it down.
Yeah.
It honestly, we'd probably be better off just starting from scratch and rebuilding.
Yeah, like if you have a page, like a Facebook business page he manages, he's just got to, like, I mean, two things. One, he should add you as like, if you're not available as a min, anybody in the family, anybody in the op, but whatever, but you need to add, like, you should own your stuff. And if you can't own it because you don't have an account, but you got to be in the back end of the business manager, and you've got to own that. And then if you need Baylor to stay in the loop, that's fine. But then he's got to add us as a manager of the page, and a manager of any ad account that's set up, just so that we can get that started. And
have them send me the information. On that. I will send that to Baylor, say, hey, make these guys an admin. Here's the info.
Yeah,
get it
because
done.
Then that way, and if he's tied the Instagram to the Facebook, once we're the admin of the Facebook, we're also the admin of the Instagram, but Christian will do that. And then that way we can do our, like, all we want to do is post. If you've got, again, a personal account, you, the wife, anybody, then
we're going through my wife's, and she's not amused about it at all.
Yeah. So and it's just a matter of, like, where we're trying to get at is more or less like, this is sort of like the digital version of a BNI, right? You join these groups, you share out happy customer stories and a few of the blog posts that we post every now and then, maybe a press release. This thing that we're going to do the interview in 3 or 4 weeks, it's going to be out. Like, we've got a queue right now of podcasts. We're going to use it internally right away, but it's going to come out onto the podcast, and you're going to have been interviewed by the Carpet Cleaner Success Podcast. And you can make it like, we're going to put it on your, hey, look at, we got interviewed, blah, blah, blah. And then you can make it a bit of a big deal. Hey, if anybody wants to learn about our company and where we came from, I got interviewed by, the biggest podcast in the carpet cleaning industry. Nobody's going to care about, like, I mean, the real estate agents, stuff like that, they're going to, I've never heard of Carpet Cleaner Success Podcast. Well, you're not in the carpet cleaning industry, but there's going to be a few people, like, some of them are going to listen to it to hear your story. And that just endears you to them even more, even if they're just lurking in the background.
Perfect.
So, and that's the whole idea. Plus,
one other thing I wanted to talk to you about real quick is doing a telephone answering service.
Okay. Yep.
On that. So did you say that the one that you recommend works where our phone will ring so many times if it's not answered,
number rollover and stuff like that? Yeah. I would reach out to Rachel. It's the call studio dot, let me double check if it's .ca or .com. The call studio .com, and just let her know that you're from us, that you that we that you're one of our clients. She works inside Service Monster, House Call Pros, and Carpet Cleaner Lead Pro, her team.
Okay.
And they can do third number rollover. They even got admin service. They can do outbound calls if, like, they charge per time block, right? For those. like inbound calls, they just charge when they book. That's it. Outbound, there's a minimum of 6 bookings a month. If you don't, if they don't end up, if you say, you know what, I never sent the phones to you, well, they have to bill you for 6 because you're kind of they've got some infrastructure costs and stuff like that. So it's
Gotcha.
just 6 is their minimum. At like $25 or $30 a booking, it's nothing, right? It's like under $200. But beyond that, they just charge per, like they literally, it's covered by the first 6 calls anyways. They just bill you that way. Then they do have the ability, if you wanted to have outreach calls, database calls. Her and I have been talking about, they do it by the sort of like the minute or the hour right now. But if you wanted to have somebody call 10 real estate agents a week to try and book 2 or 3 Howard Partridge coffee dates where you're going to have a conversation about referral reward programs, or doing outbound calls to, if you've got a list of commercial businesses, the type of commercial businesses you want. If you give them a list, they could call and do like a quote, find out who does their carpet cleaning, like just does the outbound call. Like I used to have Heather in my office do. Hey, here's a list of all the chiropractors. Start. Here's a list of all the dentists. Start. Here. So we had our guys stop by. I would stop by just to do free spotting and put my face in front. And every year or so, we would go back through the list of all the dentists, all the chiropractors. And so she just always had like slower days of the week. My office, because she was 8 hours a day, the phones wouldn't be ringing on Wednesday and Thursday afternoons like a lot. It's Mondays and Tuesdays are busy, especially if it's sunny. Fridays are busy, right? In the middle of the week, that's where all the bookkeeping gets done. Follow up with client, like the annual reminder calls and the check-in calls and stuff like that. So we would give her that list of over the course of this month, try and get me in to do commercial quotes, try and get me to sit down and have a coffee date with another real estate agent to provide, to talk about, or property manager or interior designer or whatever. I stop by the carpet stores and the furniture stores, but everybody else, real estate agent doesn't necessarily have an office. Like I'd go into the offices and hand out and do the real estate office thing, but we would start chasing, if we had 2 or 3 real estate agents that referred us from the Remax office, we would pick the list of all the other, we'd go to their website, find all the other agents and start calling and saying, hey, a couple of the guys in your office already use us. You might have seen John pop in with donuts and stuff like that every so often, every month or so, every 2 months, whatever, or the candy bowl that we fill up. He'd love to have a coffee with you and just talk about, referral reward relationship. It's really valuable for real estate agents to have, somebody on hand that you can ask questions to about flooring, carpets, all that kind of stuff, if it needs to be replaced or if it can be salvaged to sell the house and things like that. We always do those free assessments and stuff like that if we're partnering together. So we'd love to sit down and talk about that. Right? Right. And then all you're trying to do is have more and more of those meetings, because we are in a recession. Like there's like, no matter how many times, like you can do a headline right now. Are we in a recession? Oh, we've been in a recession for a year. Oh, we've been in a recession for a month. Oh, it looks like we're on the verge of recession. We're not going to, no, unemployment's going up. Interest rates and all of that kind of stuff aren't coming down as fast. Tariffs and blah, blah, blah. All of it is causing creaks in the economy that are job numbers and productivity numbers are right now very similar to 2008, 2009. That was a scary period of time. All the data looks as bad as that. It's just sort of kind of being masked by, all the other distractions in our world right now. Right. So, but it is showing up, and there is a whole bunch of carpet cleaners that didn't last as long as us, that this is the first time they're realizing that cheap leads are gone, all that kind of stuff. And you actually have to work to run the business. You actually have to work the business, work the database, work the referral sources. And 1 out of 100 in any marketplace will do that, maybe 2 in a really competitive marketplace. The other 99, 98 are going to hang on for dear life, and half of them are going to go out of business, I believe, in 2025, 2026. It started about a year ago. It took about a year for them to run out of money. A lot of them are starting to run out of money right now, and I'm hearing it every single day from people I talk to. There are carpet cleaners every day going, well, my Facebook ads don't work anymore. My local service ads don't work anymore. I said, what else do you got on the go? Well, that's it. That's where I got all my work. I was doing as much as 20,000 a month, 30,000 a month. I go, what are you doing now? 5. And they waited till it got down to 5,000 before they decided to try and figure out how to solve it. That's
Wow.
insane because they had no clue because they had a marketing company that knows how to run Google ads or Facebook ads. And that was, yep, all your work's going to come from there. So I talked to a bunch of guys in the ChemDrive franchise network and literally head office. That's all they taught for years. To them is just run more Google ads. Just run more Google ads. All the other stuff is useless. Just do more Google. And it's like, no, all the other stuff that Joe Polish taught us, that Howard Partridge taught us, that Dan Kennedy taught us, that now in the world today it's Alex Hormozy, Frankie Finn, all these guys. They're all just students of that same story. That's how you run a competent business, and it's less than 5% of business owners understand that. The rest of them stood in front of a money stream since quantitative easing started in 2010, 11. They stood in front of people having more discretionary income and buying stuff, and that crowd has dried up probably permanently. I don't think that middle class crowd is coming back. If manufacturing gets a renaissance and there's somebody can go bzz, bzz, and they're not a robot and they can put a door panel on the side of a car, and because of that affords them a house in the suburbs, a boat, 2 cars, and a cottage. That used to be the dream, is like, I could sit there and just work at a factory, and for that live the American dream. That was the middle class. That's where all these people would get carpet cleaning and landscaping companies and maid services coming in. That's gone. Like, I mean, that entire crowd, it disappeared, and then we had a recession, and then they tried quantitative easing, and then they handed out free money, and now that's all come home to roost again. And again, like him or hate him, Donald Trump, whoever's advising him is like, you're either going to decide to just do a term, don't worry about it like everybody else is doing, and let the shit hit the fan to the next generation, or somebody's got to break the system and solve it.
Yep.
And that's, again, it's going to create a lot of haters. And it may not work. Like, we don't know, because it's the future. We can't predict it, but that's what's actually happening right now I'm Canadian. Canada just elected a liberal government again for the 4th time, even though we've gone from being number 1 in the G7 for productivity and stuff like that, and gross domestic product per person 10 years ago, to the last in 10 years because of our liberal government. They just hired it again because they were the fellow on the liberal side, Mark Carney, was able to, he's a globalist banker. That's what he is. He was never in politics before. He advised the liberal government for the last how many years. He's all about green energy and carbon taxes. He makes, like Al Gore and all that kind of, he makes money off of the green scam or the carbon scam, and that's what he's done. And he's now the Prime Minister of Canada, because all he played on was Donald Trump bad. We've got to go chart our own course. And Canadians went, oh, okay. Oh, the last 10 years, and the fact that no kid can afford a house, and everything is way more expensive than even you guys have it. Like, it's like insanely expensive. Yeah. Doesn't matter anymore. You're going to solve this.
They've been brainwashed
Donald Trump problem, right? So anyways, that's what just happened around here, but that's not going to help anything either. So what we're doing, like, again, even this podcast is trying to help out some of these people, but it's also our marketing system is like you can't, it already, but you can't sit on your laurels. That's why we have Done Together. There's 3 things we need you to work, like project stories, reputation, and communications, making sure you're getting back to people right away. So we built a tool for each of those, right? So that's our collab together. And then we have the conversations. That's the coaching, the free stuff, about all of this, referral reward programs. And again, do you guys do it in-house? Do you want Rachel or her team to do some outbound calls to set those up? But can you end up landing 1 or 2 new referral partners every single month, and 1 or 2 new commercial jobs that are going to become contract, like a chiropractor that's going to be every 6 months, or a condo that's going to be once a year, or a school that's going to be once a year, but it's like $5,000, $10,000, and now you got 1, now you got 2, now you got 5, like we did when we started our business. Like, can we reinvigorate that all over again, and set the business up for the next generation that's going to take over from us, right? So yeah, because we do build up to a point. I did it myself. You build up to a point where you kind of rest, and it's like, talking to Howard, it's sort of like you either rest or you hand it off to somebody else in the company, hire that role and let them continue on doing what you did because it's still what got you there. So
Right.
we tend to pause because, hey, I'm comfortable. But if we get back at it with a goal in mind to retire, sell, whatever, now we know what we're building for. So now we have a why again. And now we put it in place, or we hire somebody to put it in place, and the new guy buys the business. Here's how we got here. If he stops it, the business will do that. If he realizes it, the business will keep doing that. Right. So anyways, that's our goal. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to do like all we're going to do is talk about I'm going to introduce you and we'll just have it's just sort of like meeting the owner interview.
Sure.
And just the story behind the company, things like that. Just going to ask some questions and just have a fun conversation for about 30 minutes and wrap it up. So
let's do it.
Okay. So I'll just do a sort of like one of those TV show silent countdowns, and that gives my team a break that they can find in this transcript. So, okay, just give me a quick second here. Make sure everything's turned on. Yep. All right. So. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Carpet Cleaner Success Podcast. Favorite part of my podcast is when we get to interview business owners who have been in business for years running their carpet cleaning business. And as we know, in our world, about 80% of all small businesses fail in the first 5 years, and about 80% of those that are left fail in the next 5 years. So about 4% of businesses across the country, small businesses, local businesses, last to the 10-year mark. Anybody who has lasted that and well beyond knows something, has something figured out intuitively or strategically. And that's why we love to do these interviews is to catch up with those types of people. I am talking right now with Chris Sutton from Carpet MD in Oregon. And we're going to talk a little bit about the business, the history, how we got here, plans going forward, and all of that kind of stuff. So thanks so much for jumping on this podcast, Chris. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good morning, John. Good morning, everyone.
Okay. So what we're going to do is just start off with a little bit of a snapshot on you and your business, just the general information. How long you've been in business. Obviously you mentioned it was Carpet MD already. So employees, teams, things like that, the specific services you focus on. So let's just kind of talk a little bit about the business first before we get into the rest of it. Just kind of tell us what got you into it, like how long you've been in business.
Always been an entrepreneur. Worked for Stanley Steamer eons ago. Okay. A couple of years on their trucks, a couple of years commercial sales rep over 7 counties. So it gave me a kind of an idea of what was going on. It was only later I learned that they weren't like the best carpet cleaners out there, but they're a good company. They built a solid company,
solid brand, like they're really well known.
Exactly. So a few years later, a partner and I, who I bought out years ago, decided, hey, let's do something together. I said, hey, I know about carpet cleaning. I know, both the commercial side and the residential side. He had some money, so we put it together. We didn't have much. It was 2006. Okay. So just before the recession, we had, by the time we got everything, we had $2,000 of operating budget to make it or break it. That was it.
Wow. Yeah.
That was it.
Bootstrapping
bootstrapping it. So we beat feet and put like free room flyers on tens of thousands of doors that year, tens of thousands. And we made it work.
That's awesome.
So now we're 19 years later. We made it through that recession. Going to make it through this one, for sure. We've performed over 19,000 jobs.
That's incredible. And what's the team look like now? So that obviously started there with you and the partner that you bought out. What's the 19 years? What does the company look like now?
Well, now we went from one van. We've got 4. We've got 4 technicians, an office manager, and myself. My wife's the secretary of the corporation, so she's behind the scenes as well. We we went from just sort of doing carpet cleaning and upholstery cleaning to we added on carpet repair, then we added on tile, then we added on air ducts, then we added on hardwood. We can strip and finish floors commercially as well. We're pretty well rounded.
Yeah. That is, and yeah, I think again, there's depending on the size of your marketplace and your focus, and that's you either go wide like that, more and more services to solve the problems of the homeowner, starting them up, sometimes buying out a competitor that's got a good service, good database, maybe an employee or at least some equipment, but and then adding that on. I did that myself with maid services and stuff like that. We bought existing ones so we didn't have to start from scratch. You're starting with other people's problems, but also other people's gains and direction, and that kind of thing. Or you go deep if it's a large market. If you're like, LA or
Right. We're not.
pick up New York, Manhattan, stuff like that, you can be just an upholstery cleaner and just be
Good.
like the high end upholstery cleaner or whatever, and just go really deep with one specialty service kind of idea. And because there's just such a volume there that you can carve out your little niche. Other times you carve out your name and your brand as the cleaning
Right.
experts, which you
Yeah,
guys have done.
can't so much do that here. We're 35 miles west of Portland. I'm in a
Yeah.
huge metropolis of almost 800 people.
Exactly. So,
So, but we serve two counties and
yeah.
some decent sized cities, but we don't have anything super large.
No, what is the total population of the two counties that you're in roughly?
Uh,
Like,
it's under 1 million.
yeah. So again, good for the audience because some people like, it's like how can there's a lot of people that are thinking, one, we'll get into it a bit. Employees are hard to manage. I'm just going to do this by myself, which the good and bad of that is what happens if you want to go on vacation, what if you have a sick family member or yourself that you have to take care of for a period of time.
Right.
What are all those life things? How do you still make money? When you're self-employed, so employees are really important. I think growing to that level, even in
I agree.
areas that aren't millions and millions of people, how do you strategically become the 3-4 truck operation in across a couple of counties? Well, it's more services. It's
Right.
getting really good name recognition and then going wide like that as well. What would you say? Services for sure, doing a great job. What are some of the uniquenesses that you've definitely had in place that like why you over the competitors that allowed you to last 19 years when I'm sure you've seen other guys come and go, in the cleaning industry that just couldn't make it in the same market.
Right. Well, we did a little research when we first were getting started. We noticed that there was just a crap ton of that mid-level service
Okay.
companies out
Yeah.
there. And we certainly didn't want to be, the bottom feeders that are, $99 for a whole house,
Yes.
right? Either. So, that left us with the option of being, really high end, high quality.
Yeah.
We started with the slogan, if you'll get the best cleaning you've ever had, or it's free.
Yeah.
So that pretty well forces you to do a good job if you want to eat, for sure.
That plus
And
the free
so,
rooms that you did, the actual, offering the free room to get the rest of
absolutely,
the house, right? It's bold
absolutely,
steps, but good marketing is that mafia offer that people can't, they feel dumb to refuse. And then it's up to
right.
you to sell the services, sell the reason why, and bigger job, and then repeats and turn them into lifetime clients.
Correct.
Yeah.
And 19 years later, we still have some of those clients that we had
Yeah.
year one,
Yeah.
as a result. So, by
Yeah.
doing that great job, you really retain a lot of people that way. They don't want to go look for something else.
Yeah.
And I hear all the time, yeah, you didn't hear from me last year because I went ahead and tried this other carpet cleaner that was cheaper. Yeah, I won't be doing that again.
Yeah. Those are some of your best customers. I always said like the customers that tried you kind
Hmm.
of thought, well, there's the standard,
Hmm.
right? Because they didn't know any better. Maybe it's a first time hiring a
Sure.
carpet cleaner, right? And then, they're that 35, 40-year-old sort of like family. They've got discretionary income now, a couple of kids, and I'm just going to get this solved for me now. We're not renting the machines anymore. We did that when we were
Right.
young couples and kids. We're now going to be adults about this. We're going to start doing some adulting and we're going to hire somebody. And you happen to be the first one that they hire and they go, oh, that's carpet cleaning. That's cool.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden
absolutely.
they try somebody else. Oh, wow. That my guy, Chris charged me $500. This guy's saying it's 120, right? Let me try that out. Oh, that's what you get for 120, right? And the
Exactly.
person that's okay what $120 got them, they're never your right client anyways. They're always going to be difficult. But the ones that the light bulb goes off and goes, no, for once or twice a year, a couple extra $100 is not going to break the bank. I spend that on Friday night to go out to, out for dinner with friends and stuff like that. So why wouldn't we invest a couple extra $100, and do it right, and then get them back for tile, and then get them back for area rugs, and then get them back for other stuff as we decide, right? And now,
one of the other things that absolutely one of the other things that seems to separate us as well, we're not afraid to educate the client. Say, well, I'm shopping around. Well, here's what you want to ask every carpet cleaner. When we talk about, do they use an all fiber rinse? Do they pre-vacuum? Things of that nature. Be sure to check their reviews online and their Better Business Bureau ratings, things like that. And they'll do that. And a lot of them end up calling back as, hey, they'll ask me specific questions about their carpet. Hey, what can I do to take care of this? Well, here's what you could do to take care of it yourself. We're not afraid to do that, and people appreciate it.
I think so, because that whole there's a lot of nuggets you've just said in this short little period of time already. The foundation of a great business you have already sort of capitalized on. Like the foundation, before you can do any really good marketing, a compelling sales proposition. Why you guys over everybody else? So you're talking about the fiber rinse. You're talking about, like, that's the experience, like the benefits to them, not the features. A feature is, I use, the SX12, for my tile. Customers know nothing about it. I use this mount, this Butler, this and the whatever. But the benefit is to you. Here's why I go the extra step. And we call it our 12-step blah 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 process, and you get to manufacture a little bit.
That's exactly what we do.
Yeah. So you create a compelling sales proposition while you're in a class of one. None of your other competitors do what you do. There might be guys equal to you. That's going to be rare, but you've got your own systems, your own processes.
And actually there are a few, and we refer each other back and forth in the area.
Because that quality. You can go out for lunch with them, and you can hang out, and you can become buddies.
And we do.
Not like you're fighting at that. You've got the risk reversal guarantee, which is, again, the best risk reversal guarantees are the ones that your competitors go, oh, he's nuts. I can't believe he's offering that, because it's for the number of people that take you up on it, right? Is good. Like if you screwed up, go back and fix it. I've
insisted more people take their money back than would have asked me to take their money back. Because,
exactly.
We got into one, we thought it was going to come out good. You know what? We were wrong.
Yep. Yeah.
And
be honest, so like that authenticity, gets around as well, because it's like, hey, who should I hire for a carpet cleaner? Well, I'd actually say Chris and the guys over at Carpet MD, because they came to our house, thought they could solve the problem, realized they couldn't, gave the money back, and we replaced the carpet. What? Your carpet cleaner? What? Yeah. So we're going to use them from now on, because that, a lot of people worry about today's dollar, not tomorrow's repeat and referral. We're in a business where if you're always chasing new leads, like we hear this all the time, I need new leads, I need new leads, I need new leads. Do you need new leads, or do you need better lifetime customers? Because a lead is worth 2, 3, 4, whatever your minimum job is the first time you show up. Most people dip their toe in the water, so it's a smaller job the first time. Do you $200-300 and never see them again and keep finding more of those and hope they come back? Or is it the customer that eventually spends $500 to $1,000, $2,000 a year every single year for 20 years, and now you've just made $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over the lifetime of that client in the lifetime of your business? Which do you want, $200 or $20,000 from a home, right? And one of them you get by just in and out, get money, and the business the fans will rust out, and the business will go to business in a period of time. Any economic slowdowns or hardships, you're now on the wrong end of the stick. Or or the other side of it is you've got clients that, as they mature and have more discretionary income and move from their 30s to 40s to 50s, and then eventually maybe to that, adult living, because the kids have moved out and you're now the condos and stuff like that, and they get you to come and do the condos, but all of a sudden their children are getting married and they're going, Mom, Dad, who's that company you guys used to have coming in the house? And now we find the longer you're in business, right, you start getting second generation.
That happens all the time.
It's hilarious.
All the time.
Yeah. So, because they
Absolutely.
remember you when they were kids, they were like 8,
Yep.
9, 10 years old, and the carpet cleaner showed up and
Yeah, I was
whatever.
out on the trucks for years and watched a lot of them grow up.
Yeah, it's incredible. And then so you've got the founder's story as well. That's part of a part of it is like why you guys are in business and how people know you. And then your impactful brand messaging. That's just the 4 steps. It's compelling sales proposition, risk reversal guarantee, why you're in business, the founder's story, and like why they should trust you. You can't hide behind a logo or even a franchise name. You've got to, why did you buy it? Why are you doing this? What is your reason why? Because people buy from people. The brand needs to support it and be visible in the marketplace. You have to have massive brand awareness and grow the best known cleaner version, but you have to be a good known person as well. And that's how you've got lots of those videos on YouTube, and you got those things where people are learning who you are, even a podcast like this. So
Absolutely.
talk
So
about
there's
marketing. Yeah. So go ahead.
Well, I was going to say there's one other thing that really seems to separate us from our competition, and that's communication.
Yeah.
So, we let every client know, and we follow through that 2 days before their appointment, we're going to give them a friendly reminder. We're going to text them. The day of, they're going to get a phone call when the technician's on the way, and they're going to get an email or a text no later than the following day, just to make sure how we did. Because you know what? Let's face it. I don't care how good any company is. You're not going to get it right every time.
No,
it's not going to happen. And we want to know and fix it. Before they're just sitting in stew and going, I paid $500 for, we don't want that. That's not okay with us. And so we get right back out there and fix whatever it is.
Especially in the world of social media as well. That's really important because it's like there is a conversation going on about your business, whether you're involved in it or not. It's already happening. There are people talking on Facebook groups and next door groups and things like that. Hey,
we get referrals from it all the time. Absolutely.
Your name's mentioned or one of your competitors, and people, no, I tried those guys. Or, hey, yeah, I tried them. They came back because there was a problem. They solved it. They gave the money. Whatever it is, the reputation is already out there. If you're not involved in that conversation or monitoring that, or again, doing all of this great stuff, just understand that you're actually cutting yourself off at the knees without even knowing it. Like, why is my phone not ringing? Was it the last 2 years of sort of just trying to take a buck from everybody? Or was it, have you gone that extra mile? So the other thing you mentioned as well that just comes into all of this and why you've built a successful company, just like success leaves clues, as they say, is you talked about, even if you're calling around, here's things to ask the other companies so that you're getting a quality job, even if you don't go with us. There's a lot of subtle psychology in that, even just saying that, because you got people going, wow, these guys are that honest that they're even telling me how to shop for their competitors. That's rare. But what you just also said is the fact that you're saying that means you have a script, that you have a way that you talk to customers that has been proven to work. So you refine it, you get it better. It's the script, and you can monitor that. You can say, our booking percentages have gone down. Are we getting off script? Is there something we need to improve? Things like that. Right. Our technicians aren't upselling as much or packages or extra services. Are they forgetting to say that little, it doesn't have to be salesy, doesn't have to be come across spammy, but hey man, by the way, we're in the home right now. Anytime we're in the home doing any service, you get a bit of a savings off of any of our other services. Here's our little sheet on that, or let me tell you what that is, whatever your process is. So if you do need anything else while we're here, the upholstery, area rugs, taken back to our studio, anything like that, there's a bit of an incentive to have it done while you're in your home doing something else. Just wondered if there's anything else you wanted to add on. If that technician says that, which is also part of a prepare for your appointment email, or that goes out or something like that, you're now just starting to, like, that's all marketing, but you're just starting to plant seeds all around the education marketing, not the sales, so you're educating them. Oh, by the way, I want to educate you that you can save a little bit of money. If you need your upholstery, your mattress, your area rugs, your stuff done, here's a way to save. Have us do it while we're in doing something else. There's that's an education. That doesn't come across as salesy. It comes across more consultative. But if you don't have those scripts, those moments, those ideas in your company, and then make sure your technicians get them, you never get there. You never get that, how do you get $500, Chris? Well, it's all of these things, right? It's not any one of them, right? You show up in uniform, not jeans and a t-shirt. The van isn't rusty and leaking oil in the driveway.
They show up like this.
Yeah, it's all of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So in that world of the marketing and stuff like that, I love the way you started off with, you needed to get work. So you shoe leather to pavement, free rooms, knocking on doors. I'm sure you kind of popped into commercial places as well and did all that kind of stuff and just get known, hustle, as we say, like get the hustle going. And then there's a point at which, you start turning the corner a little bit and the hustle keeps going, but it's maybe a little bit lighter, and you've got other marketing going. You've got more money than time you can invest in marketing and stuff like that. What are some of the things that you do to market your database to come back? And what are some of the things you do to market to find the next new people that fit your ideal customer profile that will pay your premium charges?
Sure. So obviously having a good web presence really helps with that. All the online reviews in different places. Everyone that calls, why did you go? Oh, well, I saw your reviews.
Yeah.
So it's really important to build those up. We send to keep people coming back, we send 3 to 4 postcards out per year to our existing clients, everyone that's used us like the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Type of thing. We don't really go too much beyond that because who knows where they are.
5 years is about that limit. They've probably, like, if you've got the first class mail, it comes back to you and tells you they moved. That's helpful. We used to do that about once a year, put the first class stamp on it, pay the extra money, so that we could at least find out if they moved or not. But the rest of them, it would show up to or occupant kind of idea, just in case. So.
Right. Yeah. That's fine too, because we get some of those as well.
Yeah.
But it keeps us busy all winter. Those do, because we send one out mid-January, so everybody's ready to clean up from Christmas. They're starting to get some income back at that point. We send one out usually around the 1st of April, or mid-March to April, and then
the spring, get ready for spring kind of thing.
Yeah, get ready for spring, and then Easter type of thing, and then we usually send one out before Thanksgiving, about a month before Thanksgiving. Hey, let us take care of all your needs. Family's coming, we'll take the stress out of it. Yeah. Type of thing.
And that one gets in their head, not only Thanksgiving, but it's so close to Christmas as well, that again, that I one thing about good marketing is it some of it plants a seed for the next, right? So, hey, I you know what? My family's coming and they're slobs. I'm not going to clean before they show up. I'm going to clean after, and then your January one hits. Oh, yes. So some people, I want to look great. I want to take, I want to look like Supermom or whatever, right? Or, and the other ones are going to let them trash the place. I'm going to clean up after Christmas and after everybody shows up and makes a mess, right?
Yeah, and I've got clients that wait every year for those because they know they're going to get discounts.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's almost like your reminders. Well, what we used to do was the reminder, so I started the 12-month reminder. Here's your anniversary. Here's your anniversary bonus. I'm one of those. I don't like giving discounts. I like giving, if you do this, I'll give you more. If you do this, I'll give you even more. So it's the bonus marketing.
That's a good way to do it too.
Right. So as opposed to teaching them that prices come. Sometimes in the winter, just to keep the trucks busy, you do have to, we used to do. The one way we were able to give a discount out without sounding like a discount was, instead of marketing a price or whatever, every third room free in the winter, every third piece of upholstery of equal or lesser size free. So couch, love seat, chair, the chair's free, right? When you're in the home, that's an extra 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and $5-10 worth of solution. So your out of pocket is about $30 with a technician's wage for 20 minutes, an added 20 minutes, or one extra room, every third room for free. Well, third size, that's a bedroom. That's another few minutes, right? So, but it comes across to them like a great savings. It feels like it's 33% off because every third room, but equal or lesser size. It's a great way to not market price, but still make them feel thrifty or that kind of thing.
Yeah, as well. That's a good way to do it too. Although I have noticed, even though like my winter one is our biggest, we do a big discount for January because we want people to call, right? When
it's slow. You're half the size. You want to keep the trucks busy.
I give them a 20% discount, but here's what we see: our job average actually goes up.
Isn't that incredible? Right.
Yeah,
another great marketing one, just as a tip for everybody, is another great marketing one is you should raise your prices once every year or two on something. It may not be the whole company wide raise, but maybe you raise your carpet cleaning prices. Maybe you're going to raise your upholstery prices. Maybe you're raising your protection and sanitizing or deodorizing.
Yeah, we do.
So when you go to do
we
that,
have about 2 cents every year for carpet cleaning.
one good marketing thing, you don't want to sort of beat the same key on the keyboard, but one
No.
thing that worked really well for us was we would plan our price increases in the spring,
Hmm.
and we would send out one of our spring mailings would be the price freeze. So our prices have gone up or are going up. Here's all the reasons why. It would be a mailing, a multi-step. So we'd send it out in the mail. We'd follow it up with an email. We might even send a text blast on it or a phone call, but a multi-step just to say, hey, are you interested? Oh, by the way, a couple of weeks ago, we sent this. Just want to see if you're in. Hey, final notice. Most people respond to final notice, by the way. If you don't sequence it, you never get to there. But when you do good marketing, you get to that point. The price freeze, all the offer is, we're not going to take the price up for you. It's not even a discount. And the number of people go, oh my God, oh yeah, no, I want the price freeze. I don't want the new price yet. I'll wait till next year. And it's weird how the price freeze one works so well as long as you don't, again, you can't do it every month, but if you do it once a year on a different service or something like that, you do the price freeze. Or if you have a system that every year your price is going to go up a little bit. Hey, our prices are going up a little bit like we do every year. I want to lock you in for a price freeze, right? Though that promotion works really, really well. And then one of the other ones that we added in was when we realized our anniversary. So we would send out month 11, pull a list out of Service Monster of everybody that hit 11 months since their last cleaning. And it would be a list sitting on the desk beside Heather. And there was a mailing that went out to all of them. And then she'd like wait 2 days because it took about 2 days for the mail to start hitting. And then she would physical mail so they don't miss the email, right? Actually do physical mail. It still works. Pick up the phone and call to chase that piece of mail. If you don't get a hold of them, trigger an email that's ready to go. Send, that, and even maybe a text message. But you got to be very careful in text messages. They work for the first couple of times when they're brand new in your company. After a while, that you've got to be really careful. Or they're texting me all the time now, and it becomes the negative. It stops working. Anybody who tries text message goes, "Oh, it works amazing." Okay, are you on your 10th one or your second one? Right? Because there's a change that you still have to do great marketing with mailings and phone calls and stuff like that. But what we did is we found out that was so successful that we would market them month 11 during the anniversary month and then a final notice, right? Near the end of that 12th month. So what we started doing is a good friend of mine, Vance Morris, actually taught me this one or gave me the ideas, is month 10 early bird. Month, like with a couple of extra bonuses and things like that. Month 11 early bird light. So all of a sudden, the same message, maybe slightly different postcards or mailings and phone, but there's a couple things stroked off. You no longer qualify for those. Month 11. Month 12 is your anniversary month. You don't qualify for any of these other things now because you'd missed the early bird, but you do get the anniversary month. And then month 13 is extended 1 month only, right? The anniversary, right? So that 10, 11, 12, 13, 4 months worth of anniversary marketing. We increased our campaign return on investment. So for every dollar
postcards,
we did it with postcards and letters. There'd be a personal letter from me in the middle of that. There would be a phone call. There would be we would just sequence this out over those 4 months, and like a couple of touches each month, and then the next one and a couple touches, and then and it's advanced level marketing, but once you've got it locked and loaded, it just happens. Every month you're pulling a list of people that just hit 10 months and start them in the process. Next month, people hit 10 months, start them in the process. It might be 20 this month. It might be 40 this month because it's whatever it was a year ago, right? Of the people that qualify. Maybe it's not, 90-year-old granny on the 12th floor of the apartment building, right? Maybe she doesn't get it. Maybe she's a C-list client that gets good marketing, but not the heavy lift. But it is the family, on Golf Course Road, right? In the 3,000 square foot home, they definitely get month 10, 11, 12, 13 messaging, right?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Right. So the better, again, it's the nuance of do something, get it started, and then can you circle back and iterate a little bit better? Good, better, best is, I learned years ago, is good is good enough, minimum viable, get it out the door. Free room offer, tens of thousands of homes, you'll get busy, right? It's a volume game. It's a minimum viable, easy to do. Now, now that I do that, how do I deliver better client experience? How do I do door hangers and yard signs? Give out my free bottle of spotter. That's a little bit better. How do I eventually do client database reactivation?
People love the spot out.
Yeah, exactly. And you just do that kind of stuff, right? So running these companies is just getting something going and then just iterating better and better and better and better and better. And our job is to sort of Japanese Kaizen, constant and never-ending improvement. Can we tweak something? You don't always have to be touching stuff, but here's the return on investment. So we took our return on investment from about 15 to 1 on our normal reminders for the amount of time and effort and money it cost us to mail the mailings. We'd get about, for every $1,000 we spent to remind somebody its anniversary, we would get $15,000 back worth of work. When we started doing, okay, well, let's do a trial. Let's add a month and a month, and and do some more marketing. If we still only got 15 to 1, it was a lot of extra effort for no reason. When it went up to 25 to 1, 23, I think it was 23 to 1 return on investment, we went, holy crap, there's another, for every 1,000 we spent, another $7,000 coming back to the company. But also coming back to the company meant there's also a client, a customer, one-time customer that turned into a repeat client. We got back in the home to more people because we influenced them with good marketing. Now they've seen us twice. The rule in carpet cleaning is, or home service, is 3 times, right? If you're in the home 3 times, you're probably the one they choose from this point forward. First time, 80% chance they won't call you again. Second time, 50% chance they won't call you again. Third time, 80% chance you're locked in as their person until they move on in life for some reason, like elsewhere, move out of the house, move out of the neighborhood, do something else, something life-changing, right? You're their guy. So again, marketing helps you get into their mindset before they jump ship and find somebody else. But then if you do a great job and they find somebody else and you're the right person, they come back and now they're locked for life anyways, because they go, I made a bad decision. I'll never do that again, Chris. I'm going to use you guys from this point forward, right?
Yep.
So things like that. So a lot of good stuff there about, like, again, we've got into scripting, we've got into how you've kind of marketed through the years in the company and stuff like that. How do you operate, like the operation side of it? Let's talk about employees a little bit, because that is a sort of a bone of contention with some people that decide to stay very solo for a bunch of different reasons that we talked about could become a threat to their business. A SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. A threat is, what if you can't do the work for a month? What if you break an ankle and you can't work for 4 months? Like, that's a threat. How are you solving for this? But the other side of it is, how do you operate a company that allows the technicians to feel valuable, respected, and deliver the level of service you want them to deliver? So how have you, over 19 years, figured that out? Because we're not born with that. We have to go, oh crap, that was a bad hire, or how am I going to get him to actually show up and not stink every day? Oh, and actually talk to the customer and deliver the experience I want properly. Put the booties on, roll out the red carpet, use the corner guards and all that. How have you found operationally you've been able to sort of keep that ball in the air?
So, we have a fairly lengthy interview process that really helps. So, first of all, it'll be my wife, myself, and my office manager all together. We let them know, hey, we're a small family business. We're just looking for people that, will fit for us, and that, and vice versa. So they're, we put them at ease. We're not interrogating you here. We interview them, then we talk about it as a group. The ones that we decide, we think this might be a good fit, we then let them come on for 2 days as a test run. So we let them know, look, you're going to come on, you're going to actually get to see what you're doing. You're going to get to do a little about what you're doing. You're going to see if you actually like it in the first place, make sure it's a good fit for you, and we're going to make sure that you're a good fit for us at the same time. So once they pass through that, we've noticed, for one, we used to have a rash of people that would stay about 4 months and they'd be gone. Yeah. That all stopped when we started doing that. Yeah. Because now they already knew. And we explained to them, look, we're going to pour thousands of dollars into you for this training. It's not cheap. So we want people that are going to stick around for at least a year or more. Yep. And so that's why we do this 2-day thing, and it works.
And one of the things about that I love is that when they're out in the truck doing a ride along with another technician, there's a buddy thing. Like, it's sort of like, young guy to young guy, usually, it's who we're hiring is physically able to move a couch and things like that. So
Right.
I've had girls work for us as well. They just happen to be really
Yep.
strong and could also, they could go on and become a firefighter if they wanted to, that type of girl.
Right.
But we're not hiring maids. Like I ran a maid service. Maids don't move for, like it's a different
Right.
class, right? So
Totally.
you got these people sitting in the truck together, and they're going to be friends, they're going to be buddies and stuff like that. But you're going to you can go back to your technician going, good guy to work with? No, not at all. He seems like a nice guy, but he was whistling out the window to every girl we passed and blah blah blah. And he's like you wouldn't have known that in the interview. A lot of people interview really well, or even if they're walking around the shop learning the equipment and doing an in shop day, they impress you and I really well. They're on their best game when they get out with somebody else in a truck and they kind of let their guard down. That's who we need to know who they are, so that ride along saves a lot of problems.
It does. It really does.
So yeah. And so a lot of people talk about finding it hard, like 10 years ago, a little bit easier to find employees, a little bit harder now because there's just sort of felt like people didn't want to work as hard anymore. I think that's changing a little bit with
actually it is. Yeah. Over the last year, 2 years, we've definitely seen a change in that, starting to get easier again. Cause it was brutal for a while.
It was. It's like nobody wanted to be a plumber. Nobody wanted to be a tile setter. Nobody wanted to. Now getting back into the trades is starting to become a thing as well, because a lot of the other jobs are going to be replaced by AI anyways. You know what I mean? Like everybody can be a YouTube influencer or whatever, or a video game, consultant or whatever they thought they could do out of their basement, and that kind of thing. And I think now we're getting back into, maybe dropping $50,000, $100,000 on a university degree that gets you a job at Starbucks is not the best approach anymore. Again,
no.
Maybe when we can pay $25, $30, $35 an hour for a carpet cleaner, keep that technician for a couple of years, maybe longer. But some of them, hey, you want to go through trade school and become, an electrician at $80, $70 an hour, whatever, a welder, that cool. Thanks. We're back we got you at 22, 23, 24 years of age. We'll help you by the time you're 30, move on to something else if that's what you want to do. We did that early, and we found that there's a period of time where our average employee got to about 35 years of age that we're the only ones showing up for interviews. And I do see it circling back around again now.
It is.
As the world around us and economy changes, people really say, what can I, people are always going to need to clean. I don't think Elon Musk's Optimus robots or whatever are going to start cleaning carpets anytime soon.
They're
going to replace factory jobs, and they're going to replace, and then AI is going to replace admin jobs and things like that. So, but all of those people are still going to need their stuff cleaned. We can't get away from cleaning, right? So
nope. That's one thing COVID actually did help with.
It did.
That awareness of cleaning. So everything else it sucked, but at least it did something. The other important thing is, John, that once you have the employee, that you treat them well.
Yeah, talk about that a bit.
Treat them like humans, not numbers. We treat them like family. We occasionally do outings. Like next month, we're going to take everybody to a huge video arcade.
Yep.
We're renting a room, having lunch. We take them out to I take them out to Ruth's Chris for Christmas.
Yeah.
We do things like that throughout the year. And then we offer them bonuses too for doing a good job. Every 5-star review they get an extra $20. Well, that's awesome. $2 an hour.
Yeah, that's incredible
for that day.
Yeah.
And so they really love that. But the customers and clients love it too, because they're incentivized to do a good job.
Yes.
So
no, and I think any of those ways that you can reward performance, like it's sort of like, I think it was Ken Glickman taught me this, eye power or something like that, but it was like one side of it is you give them everything they possibly to set them up for success, and then you monitor well enough. Like every now and then I used to drop around with like water and snacks and things like that as I'm out and about meeting real estate agents and doing commercial walkthroughs, quotes and stuff like that, and maybe going back to a spot that came back or something, whatever. Like I'm out and about working the business as the owner. I was only in the truck for a year and a half in my early 20s, and said, okay, town of 30,000 people, this is great, but I want to hire employees and not be the guy in the truck. One of the things I do is I stop around so that they knew that once every week or two, I would find out if their van is vomited all over the driveway. Like the doors are wide open, they're in the house, and every door of the van is wide open, and half the stuff is falling out. That they've got the red carpet rolled out inside the home. They've got indoor shoes are on inside the home. Their outdoor shoes are sitting on the red. That we know that they've changed due to the cleaning, things like that. Right. I'll come afterwards to make sure in the right neighborhood they did door hangers. Not every customer allows you to put a yard sign, but we always did yard signs and door hangers. And I'd want to see that was. So I'm policing that they're doing their routine job that I knew generated more work. And then we call the customer, follow up with the customer, send email surveys to the customer to say, how was your experience with our company from beginning to end, including your time with Tommy, the technician, and get their input privately.
Absolutely.
I love private feedback before public reviews, because the private feedback, they'll be way more honest. Public reviews, they're going to couch it, either not do it because, well, I wasn't really happy, I'm not going to do it, or they're going to try and do what you think they want. A feedback gets the intel you need to go, I got some things to fix here, or something like that. Like you actually get some of that, and especially from your best clients that have been around for years. You know what, Chris, we've used your company for years. That last guy wasn't as good. And it's nice to know that, because now it's a coaching moment. Now it's
exactly.
Right? So,
Yep.
And then the marketing mind of mine, by the way, I'm not sure if you guys do it or not, but marketing mind of mine is on social media. Like, we've got to be social. How you run your company is also part of that social. So if you're doing those outings and the Christmas parties and stuff like that, that is the great personal content to mix in with a great, we call it a social media recipe, but you want to have, things that are like we call Martha Stewart type content. Like your audience is, a lot of it is homeowners that are into green living, children, pets, that kind of stuff, decor. So if you've got some posts on your social media, just about things like that, just that they're interested in how to do better, how to take care of that kind of stuff. Now they come to your page and go, these guys understand me. They know me. Then you share some before and after stories of good customers, reviews you got on Google and things like that. You share around the web all over the place. So now you're building your reputation. And then you share some behind the scenes. Now you share some of that. You can share your education in there as well, like your weekly blog articles or your, different things like that, educate people. But now if you share that and pin them to the top for a month or so of, hey, we just did an outing with the team, and they get to see people, in their civilian clothes, not in the uniform and things like that.
Right.
That bonds people. Oh my God, that was the kid that was in my house. That was the technician that did it for me. Right. And it gets, now you're using social media for what it's meant to be, is social, right? It's,
right.
You can make sales out of it, but you're making psychological impressions that eventually make a sale. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so just another little marketing tip on that one as well. But, so as we get close to the end of this interview here, what would you say would be some of the, biggest wins that you've had over the 19 years in the business, but also personally? How is it like a win that the industry, the business has given you personally? What would you think would stand out as a big win? And then we're going to actually ask about challenges that you've run into as well, because it's not all sunshine and roses as well. But like first, like what's some big wins that just really stood out as a company big win, and then personally a big win for because of the company?
Sure. Company big wins. I mean, we've gone up in sales every year for 19 years. So we've got a great track record there. Two big wins. I've accumulated two other companies in the meantime and integrated them into ours. So that's
huge moments.
Yeah. So I've done that twice, 2017, and then just a little over a year and a half ago, we took on another one. So that really increased our size and gave us a really huge foothold in a area that I had been trying to for years, but it was this company that was stopping it.
Yeah. Okay. And then you got the ability to buy them out. Yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly. So that was perfect.
Growth by acquisition is a great strategy once you've got your legs under you and you've done the hustling. Growth by acquisition, because then when you go to wrap up the company and sell it, you're going to be selling it to somebody as a bigger entity that doesn't want to be the guy in the truck. They want to take over a turnkey solution, and the value of that is way more. The hundreds of thousands to millions extra you get because you built that is your exit plan, right? So really good on you. That's awesome. So
perfect. The other big things for me personally,
Yeah.
I was able to buy a home, the home that
Yeah.
we're in now.
Yeah.
Got an acre, fruit trees,
Yeah.
it's awesome. So
Yeah.
went from renting an 1,100 square foot house where I raised the kids in
Yeah.
to now owning a house in the country.
That's awesome.
Um,
Yeah.
so that's amazing. We're able to take quite often now. We'll take off for 3.5 weeks. We'll just
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
I've got a great office manager that can run things, and wonderful technicians. So I've got a lot of freedom with
Yeah.
that. Another milestone was actually getting off the trucks
Yeah.
completely. So the last 2.5 years, I've just been running the company instead of the company running me. And it's nice.
Yeah.
I had my first great grandkid a year and a half ago.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
I'm done with that.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to be grandpa now, right? Really, it's like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah,
Those are
a lot
great.
of
Yeah.
boosting lifestyle and freedom,
Yeah.
and spend time with the wife, spend time with the kids,
Yeah. The reason why we
vacation.
do this, right? This is
Yeah,
like
yeah. Last year
if we
we
just bought
flew.
ourselves a job, then it's a problem because
Yeah,
20 years later, you're just spinning year one the 20th time.
exactly. I
If you
mean,
got a
last
plan
year
to
we were able.
grow, yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Last year we were able to take my one of my daughter's son-in-law and one of my grandkids, and we flew them down to LA
Yeah.
and did the amusement parks.
Oh, that's
You know?
awesome. That's
Yeah, it
incredible.
was it was
Yeah.
great. So
Yeah. But if you have to take a Friday off because the buddies say, hey, let's go golfing, cool.
I can do
Right?
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
That all of those things are reasons why. And a
all
lot
things
of
that I'd never get at a 9 to 5.
no, not at all. And that's the reason why that's the dream. So if we always keep that why in our brain, and then what are all the steps that we need to do, reverse engineer to get there, realize it's not cleaning carpets. It's that cleaning carpets is, damn, I got to go do that $25, $30 an hour task when I should be doing the working on the business. I still got to put that into my time, my clock. There's a lot of people that get so tied up and out. I'm just out cleaning. I'm out cleaning. And I go home. I'm tired. Now I got to go home. You never build
Hmm.
a business. You've got to be always, you got to be the marketer of the company, the street chief strategist. You bought this thing for a reason. You grow. And if you've got that mindset, you're always watching your numbers, realizing I don't know how to look at numbers. Now you've got something to learn. You're the business owner. Teach me, Mr. Accountant, what numbers I should be watching. Show me my reports, the bookkeeper, whatever. You can't just put your head in the stand and go, nope, don't need to know the numbers. Hopefully the bank account figures itself out.
Hmm.
You've got to learn that you're in business. So be a student of business, right?
Right.
Every time you're driving around, don't listen to Joe Rogan or your, favorite country artist or death metal or whatever you listen. That's not what you listen to. Maybe your technicians do. Tell them to turn it down. Definitely don't make sure the other people hear the death metal coming out of the carpet cleaning van or anything
You
like
got
that.
that right.
But as us owners, we're listening to podcasts. We're listening to, I remember the days sitting there with cassette tapes on the end of a pen, rewinding it while I'm listening to the next one so I could put it back in the case beside me, right? Anytime anybody jumped in any vehicle I was in, they're going, oh my God, John, what were you listening to this time? It's like, yeah, there's my library of things that it was cassette tapes, then CDs, and then eventually digitally iPods and stuff like that, and
Right.
podcasts and all that. But we've got it. Oh, there's a good idea. Oh, there's a good idea. And it doesn't always come from carpet cleaners. It doesn't always come from cleaning people. It might be
No.
listening to something where all of a sudden a mortgage broker or a dentist or something goes, oh, well, here's how we do that. And you're going, holy crap, I could do that in my cleaning business, right? So, yeah, always getting ideas is part of the job that we have. So that's really cool.
Absolutely.
Pitfalls. You've gone through this the slowdown. Like again, you started the business and then ran into a recession within 2 years. And then we went through like the period of growth, and then COVID. That was a big shakeup in people's mindsets. At least now we've got a little bit like those are some pitfalls. We all have personal life pitfalls and everything else like that. What are some of the biggest sort of pitfalls in the business that that you learned from, that you would say to somebody who's 1, 2, 3, 4 years in business, if this happens, keep an eye out for this kind of idea?
Ooh. I think the biggest thing, especially with employees, is making sure you're checking up on them, monitoring them. The communication. Before we had all the communication, we wouldn't find out about Joe Blow not doing a good job. you know,
Yeah.
we had a, and you're going to have a bad hire. Let's face it. There's no way around it. Eventually, you're going to
Yeah.
have a bad hire.
Yeah.
We had a guy that he would do great one day,
Yeah.
and he'd do just garbage the next. And we were able to figure out that fairly quickly before we lost too many clients
Yeah.
out of the deal, and get rid of them, because you'd hear good feedback, good feedback, good feedback, and then negative, and then good, and then negative. I'm
Yeah.
like, what's going on? So you got to
Yeah.
really watch out for that. If you're not don't have systems in place, you're going to lose a lot.
Systems are a big part of that. Like that, I think that's a key word that if people could write, if you're writing stuff down, you need systems for everything. Like you need to be the builder of systems, and that's one of them. Is how are you going to monitor employees? It's not sticking your head in the sand and hoping and praying. It's like, how are you following up with clients? How are you falling around? What are the warning signs that you're going to solve for, or move them on?
Exactly. And and sometimes it's just a retraining issue too, right? Or
a life issue.
whatever.
How many times have you had an employee? Well, my wife divorced me. My girlfriend broke up with me. I'm like, we started to become counselors as well. Like we're youth pastors a little bit as well as we get older. And it's like all of that. It's like, yeah, here, buddy, let's go for a coffee. And
it's definitely, you gotta be willing to be a mentor.
Yeah.
Because, you're, like I say, you're working with mostly kids, right?
Yep.
And, a kid, that's anybody under 35 for sure.
Yeah, for us,
right?
exactly. Yeah, we call them kids, and we do. And I get in trouble sometimes for it, but that's a kid, man. That's just a kid. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to help them out. You got to lift them up. You got to help them out and be there for them. And if you create that two-way respect, and you have that open communication, it works. If you don't create that, they're hiding stuff. You go to their car and they've got bottles of your solution to take home because they're kind of stealing it to go do their own stuff, instead of saying, hey, by the way, I want to clean my mom's house on the weekend. How do we work that out? I want to do the labor for free, but what do I pay you for that? Right. As opposed to sneaking away with it or whatever. Right. You have really great relationships with that. Right. Oh yeah. Your mom's going to get here you go. Just, give it to them, or pay me $20 for the solution. Take the van for the weekend. Go clean mom's house. That's great. You know what I mean? Things like that.
Yes.
All of that's we're doing good by them to hopefully they do good by us. So
the second thing that I would tell somebody just starting off, already had a little bit of a marketing and management background, a little bit. So from day one, we tracked every single dollar that came in from what marketing. Perfect. And I'm going to tell you, we have saved tens of thousands of dollars, maybe six figures by now.
Yeah.
On, we knew exactly when to drop the yellow pages.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We used to do this pink flyer in newspapers. And man, we got a ton of clients from it. Filled up our van solid for 1 month out of a 10,000, run one time. And then, but we tracked it. It's going down, down, down. Yep. Okay, time to get rid of it. Angie's List was another one. Best thing.
Hey, we got to the moment of best thing ever, and then my internet paused. So just give me a quick second.
No problem. So when we first started doing Angie's List, it was the best marketing we'd ever done. It got to where it wasn't bringing as much money in as you were spending. But how are you going to know that if you're not tracking it?
So tracking numbers, things like that. So the way we always said, because I didn't know this at first, like I was a student of Dan Kennedy, probably that's where Joe Polish and a bunch of the other guys learned from, and I went up the chain to those guys. And one of the things that they teach you on that end is, every piece of marketing has to hold its own weight, every like direct response and stuff like that. What I have found is that there is a small percentage of your marketing, roughly about 10% or so, that should be brand awareness. So it's not that brand awareness has no use at all, like some of these guys say. It's like if there's a reason why the personal injury lawyer pays for backup buses and billboards, right? The best one in town, or the plumbing company that everybody knows has, things around in the right neighborhoods and sponsors the little league team, is if you take that percentage of revenue, I always say 20% roughly, 15 at a low end, 20% at a sort of a good growth end of revenue goes towards all marketing. That includes shirts and vans and door hangers and yard signs, but that also includes your digital marketing. That includes your database marketing. And take 10% of that and put that towards brand building activities to the right clientele, right? So Chamber of Commerce may not one-to-one equate to $1, may or may not, but it may improve your brand as long as you don't just join it and never show up. But if you attend, you flip burgers and pancakes at their charity events and stuff like that, and you're rubbing shoulders with the GM of the Mercedes dealership, and next thing you know, you're cleaning, hey, you should come out and give us a quote and stuff like that. You might be able to tie those together, but there's a point at which you're just sort of, if you take that 10% budget, put it towards blatant brand building and becoming the best known in your marketplace, and let the rest of the marketing brand build with a conversion element to it. Track everything, have tracking phone numbers, have codes that they have to, QR codes nowadays. Finally, oh my gosh, I've loved QR codes since they came out. We finally now use QR codes because everybody's phone, picture taking app, can read a QR code and send you to the link that it was on. For years, it was, you had to download an app. Nobody had to use QR codes. Now they finally work. You can put them on yard signs. You can put them on door hangers. You can put them and get people to automatically be opted in or see the thing you want to see. Anyways, track everything you possibly can. And a good CRM helps with that. Service Monster, House Call Pro is one of those where you can, how did the person hear about us, and put all of that in, and you can now run reports. Data is the most important thing to running a business. It really is. Don't hide away from the data. So, no, that's really good advice. So, cool. So I think we've covered quite a bit of stuff. I think a bit of a masterclass on how to make a company go from bootstrapping and handing out free room all the way to 19 years later acquiring other companies, mentoring employees, and and things like that, and everything in between. What would you say? Sort of any parting advice? Famous last words, anything like that would, if you had to kind of put a pin in everything for seasoned cleaners that are maybe struggling right now due to this time of the economy, or new cleaners that are wanting to figure out if this is 2 or 3 years in the thing they should stick with, what would be sort of just any parting advice to the industry at large watching this?
As cleaners, we do our jobs well, right? We know all about it. And you need to stick to that. You need to get out there, obviously, and talk to people, like you were saying, going to different dentists and, realtors and things like that. But, when it comes to the digital marketing and stuff, you just can't keep up on it if you're going to do all these other things. If you're going to be out there doing jobs, if you're going to be out there introducing yourself to people, Google changes their algorithms like every other minute, it seems like.
Pretty much.
And there's people like you that's your job. That's what you do. So we don't have to worry about that.
No, and I appreciate that.
I would say find a good. Yeah. No, seriously. I would be lost if I had to do the Google ads, the LSA ads, and the Facebook stuff, and the and how do I get my bigger share of how we rank? That's a full-time job in itself.
And
so
I wrote the book on it.
Find the right people.
It's a pretty big book. It's already the information is timeless because it makes sense, but the actual places to do it, the whole book needs updated again because it's 2 years out, and it's okay, the actual where to's, there's new dots sticking, and AI has changed all of that yet again, right? So it's as the business owner, because I ran cleaning businesses for 30 years, same idea. It's who, not how, on a lot of things. Our role is to be the face, the voice, the mentors, the reaching out, the community, stuff like that. And find the office gal that can answer the phone, so you're not answering the phones, and doing the mailings. Find the digital marketing company that can keep up with that. Find the who's, not how's, track the numbers, make sense of it, move forward. Know your role, know the roles you need, because you try and do it all, but that will stall your growth, right? So if you
Agreed.
You can have a speed to implementation, or you can be, too worried about saving a penny that a year or two goes by and you still haven't solved it, and the whole thing's changed anyways. So,
yep.
Good advice. I really appreciate that. So I appreciate having you on, Chris. Thanks so much. I know our audience is going to learn a lot. I will pass across any questions that come in or any input that comes in, because we invite everybody to, wherever they consume this, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on our website, whether it's on a podcast, to make a comment, tell us what you thought, all that kind of stuff. We'd like to pass that on to the guests as well. And so that that we've helped the industry. Like we're not all in our own little bubbles. If we can help more people do this thing better, it elevates the whole look of the industry anyways. Then we don't have, the fly-by-nights and the discounts that we've always kind of had, but they don't have as much of a pull on the marketplace, where it's like, oh, I thought carpet cleaning was only a $99 thing with a rusty van guy showing up. That we want the consumers to realize more so that there's a quality mindedness to this whole thing anyways. And the more people transform their businesses, the more that message gets out everywhere as well. So I think that's a big part of the lift on this. So I appreciate having you on. Thanks so much. I know everybody's going to enjoy this one. We're going to get lots of good comments. We'll share with you. And
perfect.
Thanks so much for joining us.